I never asked for this.
So I know this video was supposed to be a Metal Gear Solid 5 run, but I've been having some trouble with Metal Gear Solid 5 as of late, so I asked you guys on a community poll what you guys wanted to see from Cyberpunk 2077, Payday 2, or a D&D homebrew build double feature, and this won out. So this is the video I'm going to be dropping to hold you guys over until Metal Gear Solid 5 wants to cooperate, which I'm thinking is going to be in December. If that's too long a wait, let me know in the comments down below if you guys want to see more Cyberpunk or if you want that Payday 2 run. So the goal of this challenge run is to see if I can beat Cyberpunk 2077 as Adam Jensen, the leading man of the Deus Ex prequels that dropped about a decade ago. Feel old yet? So, to outline the rules of this run, I've got to look like Adam Jensen, roleplay him as much as possible as best I can, so a Clint Eastwood-esque badass ex-cop cyborg in the pursuit of truth and justice, and I have to equip and use specific cyberware, or our AUGs, and specific weapons with specific mods in some cases. I got help for the face, the outfit, and the build from Tony Harrison, Reddit user Anonymous9916, and Reddit user Mr. Pringer respectively, so I'll leave links to the video, Reddit post, and build planner in the description if you guys want to try this out for yourselves. As for our outfit, it consists of the polycarbonate sports sunglasses for our signature built-in mirror shades, the durable synthetic biker coat for the iconic coat from Mankind Divided, the military-grade Aramid net running suit, the classic Immuno cotton corporate pants, and the gold-tipped manganese steel solo boots for extra drip. The weapons allowed for this run are the Constitutional Arms Liberty with a sight and silencer to represent the Zenith CA-40, the Dara Polytechnic DR5 Nova, which had a silencer in pre-2.0 test runs, but you can't put a silencer on it anymore, and that represents the Mustang Arms 357 Magnum, an Arasaka Tamiyura with packs, a silencer, and a sight for the Zenith Zap that I admittedly never actually get, a Militech M10AF Lexington with a silencer and hollow sight for the Hurricane TMP-18, the Arasaka HGSH-18 Masamune with a silencer and really any sight for the FR-27 SFW, a Rostovic DB4 IGLA with any mods for the Huntsman Silverback, a Militech Crusher with a sight to replicate the Widowmaker TX Tech 1, the Overwatch to recreate the Steiner Bentley Model 762 battle rifle, a Tsunami Nekomata with packs for the TRQ-203C longsword, the Breakthrough for the Longsword 203 ERSR, and any machine gun. Any variation of the generic weapons is allowed, so for example, I end up mainly using Congo for my Zenith CA-40 and Dying Knight for my Hurricane TMP-18. Finally, for AUGs, my frontal cortex will consist of Self-Ice, the Fortify AUG, an EX disc, the Capture AUG, a Mechatronic Core, the Camera, Turret, and Robot Domination AUGs. My ocular system will be the Kuroshi The Oracle Optics to represent the retinal prosthetics and HUD, the LiDAR Mark Tracker, Smart Vision, and the Wayfinder Radar. For my circulatory system, I got the Second Heart for the Defibrillator AUGs, a blood pump for the Synthetic Growth Factor, and I was going to use the bioplastic blood vessels to recreate the Angiogenesis Protein Therapy AUG, but I couldn't find it so I subbed it out with something else. My nervous system has a Kerenzikov to be my Quicksilver Reflex Booster, and the Synaptic Accelerator to be the Focus Enhancement AUG. The Integumentary System will be Optical Camo for the Glass Shield Cloaking System, the Subdermal Armor for the Rhinodermal Armor, and the Pain Editor for the Uninhibited Angiogenesis. I picked the Arasaka operating system, and I don't remember why. Anyway, my skeleton will feature Dense Marrow to sort of replicate the Instant Takedown ability, and titanium bones will be optimized musculature even if it doesn't let me throw potted plants and vending machines at people. Hands will have the shock absorber for cybernetic weapon handling that would have been immovable force if I had the DLC. Arms will have mantis blades for Adam's nano blades. They were supposed to be the MaxTac blades specifically, but again, I don't have the DLC and fuck trying to kill Rory. And last but not least, legs will have the fortified ankles for the Clipspringer jump mod. Everything else I either couldn't replicate or is included in Cyberpunk as a base feature, like seeing an enemy's field of view on the mini-map or being able to talk on the phone in your head or whatever. So, fun fact, this is my second time playing through Cyberpunk, and the first time was on the easiest difficulty. Sure hope picking the hardest difficulty for this run isn't a mistake. So I tried to go a pretty even spread for starting stats because they're all fairly important, but the two most important, intelligence and reflexes, get a smidge of a bump higher for Deus Ex hacking shenanigans and good gunplay. We're going corpo for this run, as that's pretty much Adam's beginnings in 2027 as the Chief of Security for Seraph Industries. I get through the corpo opening stuff ASAP since my first playthrough of the game was a test for this run, so I've seen this all before, and pretty recently at that. Jenkins is a douche that makes me compromise my moral integrity. I head to Lizzie's to talk to Jack about the hit on Abernathy Jenkins wants to commission. I get fired. Me and this Chincada Madre become preem chooms and do a bunch of jobs together. I get a reality check on the first mission about the difference between the easiest difficulty and the hardest, and we save Sandra Dorset and Delta. The car chase was nothing special, I get home fine and go to bed, use my first level up to boost intelligence and grab the painkiller perk from Body for health regen and combat when I wake up, and grab the first weapon for the run, the Hurricane TMP-18, in the form of the Dying Knight from Wilson on my way to meet up with Jackie. Afterwards, I get my rudimentary retinal prosthetics, not quite the Seraph Industries grade optics yet, and now Dexter Deshawn is in play. Dex puts me up to the All Foods mission for the Flathead, and I use my 2 attribute points on Reflexes and Body, since Reflexes is my most important skill, and Body isn't something I'll be investing too heavily into in the long run anyways. And I use my 2 perk points on Killer Instinct and Feline Footwork to start building towards stealth and agility. In my first run, I alerted Maelstrom to Meredith's virus, but I wanted to do something new and didn't think it'd be out of character for Adam to deal with a company like Militech considering his background. So, I didn't remove the virus, met up with Royce, survived Royce's goons, put an attribute point into Cool and a perk point into Slippery, fought my way through the Chow Factory with my Hurricane TMP-18 after shit went sideways, and zeroed Royce with my Hurricane TMP-18 and some other gun I picked up off the ground I used when I ran out of ammo. With that complete and both Meredith and Dex happy, I drop another perk point into Reflexes and grab Eye in the Sky, and my next stop is to meet with the client of the big heist we need the Flathead for in the first place, Evelyn Parker, at Lizzie's. That takes me to Judy, where I do the only interesting on your first playthrough BD section, dropping 2 points into Reflexes and grabbing Comeback Kid and Speed Junkie right after. Then to Dex and the gang at the Afterlife to start the heist, then to Konpeki Plaza to do the heist. Hi Kojima, sorry I missed you in my first run. And finally, after the Flathead bit and bumping Cool and grabbing Army of One, I get to Yorinobu's flat, snag Congo or my Zenith CA-40, and fuck up the heist. I love how Yorinobu is like, oh, my father's been poisoned, when there's a fucking blood-covered crack on this glass in plain view of God and everyone, right about where the back of Saburo's bloody skull would be if someone, say, choke-slammed him into it. After being found out in an admittedly still cool scene, I get hurt, Jackie gets badly wounded, the biochip gets busted, I put the chip into my head to keep it from degrading, I fight my way through Konpeki in a pretty DXMD-like style using the Zenith CA-40 with a mix of stealth and action, we get to Delamain, I take out the tails pretty easily with my Zenith CA-40, the Sweet Prince goes to be with God, and after sending Jackie to Mama Wells, I meet up with Dex and he blows my brains out into a title card. Act 1 complete. Just a couple things I gotta do before Act 2 really begins and we gain unadulterated access to the world of Night City. I knock out the Johnny flashbacks, come back to life from my headshot thanks to my AUGs, sounds familiar. Goro saves me, and I do the car chase gunfight. Goro brings us to Vic so that he can fix us up, Misty and I chat about Jackie's passing and my potential soon follow, Johnny tries to rope neck me, Act 2 truly begins, I drop 2 more points into Cool and drop 2 points into maxing out Dash, my Icarus Dash for the run. I spend 2.5 hours trying to find my wish we have Adam Jensen at home Adam Jensen outfit, though I'm still missing the military grade air mid net running suit, decide to grind up to level 20, and start with the gig Serious Side Effects. In my first playthrough I did maybe 25 different side quest lines in all, but for this playthrough, I pretty much did everything in the base game, so it was really fun experiencing everything Cyberpunk had to offer. Also, I'll make mention of this now so that it's a known factor moving forward, but when I first played through this game in the version 1.6 era, I don't think I ever encountered a major bug. I felt really bad for the masses of people talking about game-breaking glitches. Now in 2.1, most people are saying everything's cleared up, but this was my buggiest, glitchiest playthrough of them all, so I'll try to mention those great moments as I move on. To rattle off everything I did before returning to the main mission, I killed the drug cookers and got the beta acid for Serious Side Effects despite the bugged out door, put a point into Cool and got 2 points into Focus, got the ping quick hack as a parting gift from T-Bug, paid off my man Vic for the rudimentary retinal prosthetics, got a mechatronic core implanted for the domination upgrade of the hacking AUG, got dense bone marrow and titanium bones implanted for the instant takedown and optimized musculature augs respectively. Got the Kerenzikov as my Quicksilver Reflex Booster aug. Upgraded my subdermal armor, my rhinodermal armor, to tier 1+. Snagged over 3,000 eddies in a tattoo I'll never use from Wakako for the Sandra Dorset gig. Upgraded my rhinodermal armor to tier 2, rolled through the Tiger Claws with my Zenith CA40 and my Mustang Arms 357 Magnum to save Lauren Castigan, dropped a point in Cool to get it to an even 10 and grabbed Blind Spot, grabbed Vortex's Cred Chip from the Tiger Claws for the Tiger and Vulture gig, got Reflexes to 10 and nabbed Rinse and Reload, got my hands on a Rostovik DB4 IGLA, or my Huntsman Silverback, used said Huntsman Silverback to clear out all the Tiger Claws in the Wired Head, and grab Leah Gladden's equipment for the Greed Never Pays gig, got Intelligence to 7 and grabbed Pull, let Alex go for the Olive Branch gig, not so discreetly grabbed the depository chip from Gutierrez's office for the Until Death Do Us Part gig, bumped technical ability to 5 and got head to head, used my Hurricane TMP-18 to save Bugbear for the Getting Warmer gig, and got a military-grade Aramid net running suit, completing the Jensen drip, upgraded my Zenith and my Hurricane, started Delamain's tune-up quest, used my Huntsman Silverback to blow my way through the 6-3 Patriots and download the malware for the Error 404 gig, bumped tech to 6 and got unexposed, just ran through the Kendachi garage and got the incriminating evidence on Matthias for the Race to the Top gig, stealthed my way through breaking news in an attempt to find an Arasaka HGSH-18 Masamune to be my FR-27 SFW, failed to find one but installed the tracker, got 7 in tech, got quick getaway, and completed the quest, upgraded my Domination augs, my Optimized Musculature aug, my Instant Takedown aug, my Quicksilver Reflex Booster aug, I got and upgraded the Synaptic Accelerator, or my Focused Enhancement aug, I got my Glass Shield Cloaking System, upgraded my Rhinodermal Armor once again, traded up for a higher tier Arasaka OS, went to Jackie's Ofrenda, non-lethally took down all the Maelstrom goons holding Biku captive to complete losing my religion, which, fun fact, is just a southern way of saying you're getting angry, which makes sense since religion keeps us calm and peaceful, bumped to tech again, got gag order, got robbed by these gangers that I was able to bully away in my first playthrough, killed those gangers to exact justice, bumped int and got optimization, knocked out Rose Horrigan and got the chip for the Family Matters gig, and killed Olga Elizabeth Longmead to get and craft Breakthrough, my Longsword 2 203 ERSR for the run. Alright, back to the regularly scheduled program. Now level 20 and ready to jump back into the main story stuff, Goro says some stuff while I watch a guy eat a burger, Johnny decides he wants to be my buddy now, I meet up with my Cyberpunk crush, and after getting to the Clouds Tower and watching the entire world glitch the fuck out so hard a woman's head turns yellow and an imaginary flashbang goes off, I do the Cloud stuff and then beat the bare-knuckled dog shit out of Woodman. I put a point into body and get encryption, and then I get myself self-ice, hacking Fortify, and EX disc, hacking Capture, as well as upgrade my Glass Shield cloaking system and my Arasaka OS. I get a Masamune from a gunfight shortly after, which unfortunately has packs on it, but can serve as my FR-27 SFW for now. I then use my new FR-27 SFW to take down droves of Maelstrom gangers to steal a surgery recording for the Rite of Passage gig. I got body to 7 and acquired the Ready Rested Reloaded perk, get another perk point that I used to max Ready Rested Reloaded out. I used my FR-27 SFW to waste a couple of Maelstrom goons before helping this doctor to save a Maelstrom goon and then rescue her from the corpses, or I guess unconscious bodies since my FR-27 SFW has packs, that I left behind. I got body to 8 and got mind over matter to help with the FR-27 SFW's 3-round burst recoil. I used my Longsword 2 203 ERSR to absolutely destroy the Tiger Claws to take the van in the Many Ways to Skin a Cat gig, upgrading my Hurricane TMP-18 in the process. I watched as the world began to transmogrify as I wiped the floor with the Tiger Claws with my Longsword 2 203 ERSR until the world crashed my game and I had to do it all again, all for the Monster Hunt gig. I quickly and quietly got Jacob Lamb's eye for the Playing for Keeps gig. I saved Changhu Nam for the Wakako's favorite gig. I capped off body at its final level, 10, and got the Power Slide perk. I beat a bunch of Gangoons with my FR-27 SFW to get a tracker on a schmancy looking car for the Welcome to America Conrad gig. I neutralized Taki Kenmochi's Hustle with my FR-27 SFW, this groundhog whack-a-mole looking dude with my Hurricane TMP-18, and the Woman of the Hour herself with the Longsword 2 203 ERSR for the Troublesome Neighbors gig. I used the Huntsman Silverback to make my way to Gottfried and Frederick and just barely decide to let them live, taking their non-involvement in the initial crimes at face value in the Dirty Biz gig. I do the Woman of La Mancha gig and convince Anna Hamill to drop the investigation not because I don't value the truth, but because I don't think it's worth her life. I smear the tiger claws all over the floor with the Huntsman Silverback and upload the bad malware for the Catch a Tiger's Toe gig, where I am taunted by an unlootable tier 4 item. I upgrade my Hurricane TMP-18 and my Zenith CA-40. I got into 10 and got Can't Touch This. I fail to get to the indicated residence for the Backs Against the Wall gig since I missed the window that you're supposed to go through. I upload a virus at a club in total stealth for the Lack of Empathy gig. I recovered the shard from Jim Greer in total silence as a personal goal to respect the crucifix in the building for the Jeopardy gig. I stole the CCTV footage for the serial suicide gig without killing a single police officer. Then I bumped Tech and got Mad Dash and Mean Streak. I found the window for Backs Against the Wall and peacefully retrieved the medicine from William Hare. Side note, my jaw was slack for a good 4 minutes after this, could not believe it. I saved Huang Bo for the Flight of the Cheetah gig. I got Tech to 10 and got the Dwarf Head perk. I used my new Tier 4 FR-27 SFW to clear out the animals and neutralize Blake for the Sharks in the Water gig. I upgraded my Hurricane TMP-18 to Tier 4. I bugged the Shrine for Wakako without being detected for the A Shrine Defiled gig. I got Byakko as a reward for completing Professional Widow and all of Wakako's gigs. I used my Hurricane TMP-18 to win the contest in Shoot to Thrill and got the Lexington X Mod 2 as a reward. I cleared out the Gangoons in the last login gig and got the laptop. I stupidly upgraded my Mechatronic core instead of just buying a new higher tier one with my 300k eddies. Did the same dumb shit with my Self Ice, my EX disc, my Mechatronic core again, and my Dense Marrow. I finally upgraded my Optic Augs with Tier 4 Kuroshi the Oracle Optics, or my Retinal Prosthetics with dozens of other worked-in Augs, and I got Tier 4 Shock Absorbers, or my Cybernetic Weapon Handling Augs, and Tier 4 Fortified Ankles to get my Klepspringer jump mod, and even decided to snag Tier 4 Mantis Blades for my Nano Blades, which was hype, right up until I then upgraded my Self Ice and Mechatronic core to Tier 4. And after that I bumped cool and got a point of the Die 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 perk. I got another point into Die 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 to max it out. I wiped out Jay Hune and his thugs with the Nano Blades to complete the Small Man Big Evil gig. I bought Tier 4 Classic Immuno Cotton Corporate Pants from Jinguchi. I helped Max Tac deal with a cyber psycho that tended to T-pose on occasion. I convinced Jack Mauser to take a hike to save his life without a fight for the An Inconvenient Killer gig. I got killed a million times trying to do On a Tight Leash for Padre, so I had to come back to it later. I used my connection to this Valentino from Jackie's Ofrenda to sneak into the office and get incriminating evidence on the mayor's advisor for the 5th column gig. I got a bunch of cyberware upgrades. I met up with Meredith for a good time and got an item that will cause me to be weary of showing my melee weapon screen from now on. I used the Zenith CA-40 to clear out this Maelstrom garage and get some camera footage for Aaron, and couldn't complete the quest because his intercom was bugged. I used my Longsword 2 203 ERSR to dome all the animals and get a special van for the gig 2 Wrongs Makes Us Right. I got cool to 13 and got 2 points into Lead and Steel for my Nano Blades. I used my MA70 HB to basically slaughter everything in sight with little issue, and gave 6th Street a virus on the gig Hacking the Hacker. I snuck into Joanne Coach's apartment and allowed her to back up her work and even betray me before I exacted justice on her for her crimes to the Red Orchard clan, and I executed her for the Guinea Pigs gig. I got the scandalous recordings on Councilwoman Cole while remaining undetected for the Frolics of Councilwoman Cole gig. I bumped Cool 1 point short of its capstone and snagged Bullet Deflect. I am rewarded this gorgeous car from Dino for completing Gas 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 and all of his gigs. With it being so advanced, it just makes gates disappear. I went back and successfully wiped out most of the Valentinos, including Jose Luis for the On a Tight Leash gig. I finally got a Tier 4 Second Heart, which is my defibrillator AUG. I slashed the crap out of the Wellsprings Delamain. I somewhat stealthily recovered Jake Estevez's car to complete the Life's Work gig. I capped off Cool and got Glutton for War. I retrieved Rihanna's data file House for the Severance Package gig by what was quite literally the grace of God, as it was on my first try, and I basically got spotted immediately and just ran through the dozens of enemies and somehow survived. I stealthed through the Cuckoo's Nest gig and rescued poor Jasmine Dixon, who looks exactly like Lisa Kerrigan from that one Wakako gig. I upgrade my Hurricane again. I stealthily rescue Flavio Dos Santos, and we haul ass away from the 6th Street Gang for the Going Away Party gig. I neutralize Logan Garcia for the For My Son gig. I bump into 11 and get first aid. I neutralized Karuba Byrell without alerting anyone for the Old Friends gig. I head up this tower to kill Gustavo Ortega for the Bring Me the Head of Gustavo Ortega gig and avoid being detected at all, and once I recognize him from Jackie's Ofrenda, I actually give him the opportunity to leave Night City, but sadly he takes his own life. I tried to do the Psychofans gig, but the gig bugs out, not letting me take Carrie's guitar or Johnny's pants, so I restart my game and that seems to fix it. I decided to check to see if the fix helped with the Scrolls Before Swine gig, and it did work, letting me get the stuff to Aaron and finish the quest. I bump Int up and get Transfusion. I rescue Ro without raising the alarm for the Bloodsport gig. I easily get the databank for the Lousy Kleppers gig. I talk Reggie's old buddy Max down from becoming some kind of Wish jigsaw killer for the Freedom of the Press gig. I went to the Testicular Torsion, or whatever this place is called, and relieved Ladria of some compromising materials stealthily. I bumped Intelligence once more and got 1 point of all things cyber. I snuck into Tucker's apartment and, reviled by her lack of remorse and attempt to buy me off, let my demons get the better of me and executed her in revenge for what she had done in the Eye for an Eye gig. I just kinda walked up and took the SUV in the Lord Giveth and Taketh Away gig. I non-lethally knocked out Anna Knox and rescued Hal Contis for the Occupational Hazard gig. I snuck into a Militech blockade to save Tiny Mike, my man, and we dealt it before anyone even knew we were there for the Concrete Cage Trap gig. I bump Int again, just 2 points off from its cap for our run, and get the 2nd point of all things cyber. I do the Merc Soldier Spy gig in total stealth, killing Mikhail Akulov and his secretary Nadezhda Turina before recovering the data shard, leaving, and giving it to China. I used the Longsword 2 203 ERSR to wipe out the Tiger Claws, and the MA-70 to nix the drug lab in the Heisenberg Principle. I got the Axolotl cyberware for completing Reggie's gigs and the Last Call gig, even though I actually forgot to ever even use it. I shredded El Gallo to pieces with my MA-70 HB and got the Scandium rods for the Going Up or Down gig. I bump Intelligence for the second to last time and get Chrome Constitution. I bought a paint editor. I got another Zenith CA-40 in the form of the Seraph pistol from Padre for finishing his gigs, and God bless this mess. I helped Jesse with his Mr. Stud problem. I unfortunately had to bring justice to some corrupt badges to save Nigel in Only Pain. I very unfortunately found Skippy. I saved Daryl's bike from some punks. I started the Over the Edge gig. I got this fucking beautiful car from Sex on Wheels. I stealthily took down these Militech goons and got the moon painting for Space Oddity. And I maxed out Int for the run at 16 and grabbed Renaissance Punk, finishing out this great big recap by getting my hands on David's jacket. Wonder if you guys would be interested in a David run. Now at level 40, it's time to follow up on that lead about Evelyn with Judy. I meet with this scum and try to keep the peace between him and Judy, find out that Evelyn was nabbed by scavs, zero everyone there with my new Zenith CA-40, find Evelyn, and bring her back to Judy's pad. After, I put a point into Lucky Day and do the BD stuff, do the Ballad of Buck Ravers and bump Tech and Snag Driver update while I wait for the Voodoo Boys to want to work with me, only get 2nd place in Stadium Love, and meet up with Rogue in the Afterlife, and then watch as Tiny Mike fails the fusion dance and becomes a Cronenberg monster. Rogue gives me the lowdown on Anders Hellman and says that our girl Panam Palmer can help with his retrieval job, but since Panam's got her own thing going on, I almost hop on this ceiling fan, just missing it barely. I decide to help her and not only help her get her Thornton back, but get justice for the betrayal of Nash. From there, the 6th Street deal went well, we celebrated with drinks and caught some Z's, and I bumped Tech and got Chipware Connoisseur. It was at this point that I decided to just finish grinding to max level now, and then shotgun the rest of the story instead of continuing to stop and grind for levels and gear, so I knocked out Noira, Diego Ramirez after dislodging him from the roof, Chase Coley, Zaria Hughes after a bitch of a time which I ironically remember being a bit easier in 1.6, I bought a PAX mod for my TRQ-203C longsword, I knocked out Lieutenant McWebb, Matt Lyall, Ellis Carter, I couldn't knock out Daehyun because she seemed bugged, so I went down the street and knocked out Gaston Phillips. Then I came back and Daehyun worked. I tried to do the dentist job where you have to carry that surgeon to the car in total stealth, and it worked up until one point where I had to do what I was trying to avoid. I put down the doctor and zeroed all these chromies. I got Scalpel as a reward. I returned the databank to Sandra Dorset, which I thought was super cool since I never even knew she came back into the story ever again, and after that I bump tech and get the first level of Embedded Exploit. I start the Beast in Me for the first time since I've never really been a big racing game fan other than Burnout 3 Takedown, and I never really had any cool cars like I do in this run, but I'm glad I did because I enjoyed it, and I also found out that Claire is a transgender Christian, which I personally think is awesome. I helped Pedro nab some Zetatech truck with some precious cargo booster thingies, which was pretty fun. I got Bloody Maria for completing Ride Captain Ride and finishing all of El Capitan's gigs. Shame I won't be using it. I got the car and recording to Nancy's— oh, sorry, I mean Bess Isis. No, I mean Nancy. Nancy's son Dan. I assassinate Vic Vega without killing anyone else for Rogue. I use my 350 Magnum to clean out a 6th Street warehouse and get Carl Ginsky's shard, defend my meal ticket Carl. Sorry, I defend Carl and complete the gig. After that, it was off to the basement of an electronics store to decommission Rebecca Price, after which I'm rewarded with a level in tech and the 2nd level of Embedded Exploit. I do some upgrading, and then I head out to the Badlands and clean out these Raff and Shiv filth to take out the antenna at the top of this tower. I just ride right up to this car in the middle of a minefield and drive it right back out to Dakota Smith. I got first place in my first race. I stealth killed all these wraiths to rescue Iris Tanner. I attempt to sneak into Big Pete's garage, but just end up killing the entire gang of enemies over the course of like 20 minutes with my Widowmaker TX Tech 1, and allow Big Pete, Tiny Mike's brother, to skip town. I easily sneak into the place where Trevor's body is being stored in the Trevor's Last Ride gig and easily retrieve said body and complete the gig, allowing me to bump tech once more and get the first of 3 levels of License to Chrome. Now it's time to start the Judy and Clouds questline. So, of course, Ev unfortunately decommissions herself, but that's all until Judy's ready to kick things into high gear. But after that, I get first place in my second race, so I'm not feeling so bad about Ev anymore, and I insta-kill Jason Walldriver and save Ben for MIA, which was fun and simple. And beyond that, I head to the landfill and literally just walk in to get the shard from the bot for the sparring partner gig. I get last place in the last race, but we already qualify for the big race anyway, so Claire pours her heart out to me, and, trying to get the best ending possible, I sign on to help her kill Samson in revenge for pit maneuvering her husband Dean to death, upgrade all my cyberware to tier 5 before going into the final race, and, when the time comes, I try to convince her against revenge at the final hour, and though she kills Samson anyway, I think I got the best ending because I think we're still friends by the end of it. Next, I tried to stealth through the Militech base in the Radio Love gig, but ended up in a 40-minute gunfight, got the radar van afterward, and then decided to knock out the meditation quest. I then tried to do the Raymond Chandler evening quest and get the good ending for Pepe, but ironically in my first run, I ratted on Pepe's wife to him and they repaired their relationship, and this time I tried to give her a chance to explain herself, and she fumbles it and fucks up their marriage. So I decided to just go back to the hole I crawled out of, and lo and behold, there was Dexter Deshawn, this being my first time returning here and finding him in a run. There was his special gun Plan B that shoots eddies, and there was the refrigerated corpse of one of the most prolific hackers in Night City history, Roche Bartmoss. True to Adam Jensen, while I tried to ask Nix to try and get something off of his cyber deck, I'm willing to lose whatever was on it to save Nix, and after that, it was time to meet with Judy and convince Maiko that things with the Tiger Claws at Clouds gotta change. But when that falls through and all we get as a consolation prize is getting to blow off half of Woodman's head, I take a break and rescue the North Oak Delamain, meditate, and meditate again while Judy concocts her plan. On the topic of the meditation quests, I never paid anything for the sessions in my first run since Buddhism is supposed to be about abandoning material possessions and earthly desires, but I paid for all the sessions this time because you can reason it either way. You can pay nothing because eddies mean nothing to you, or you can pay because you don't need to hang on to your eddies. I don't know if anything's different, let me know in the comments down below. Then I tried to knock out Zion Wild with my TRQ-203C longsword and a snipe off, but I didn't do nearly enough damage, so I just choked him out instead, and not long after, Russell Green also met the same sleepy time. Then I meet up with Judy and the gang so that Tom can embarrass me in front of everyone for entertainment. Next I go ahead and level up, getting another point into tech and being nearly to both having it at max level for the run and being max level for the run, though I wouldn't know that yet. And I grab the last level of License to Chrome, I easily KO Laylee Hine, I not so easily KO Alec Johnson, and after watching this guy assume the position, I have a bit of a time KOing Cedric Mueller, but I get it done. Afterward, I try to finish getting to max level with a couple of odd jobs like getting the spellbook from Reno for Nyx. I got some more augs and mods. I find this awesome new weaponized vehicle while chasing the Northside Delamain. I finished chasing that Delamain down. I started the Brandon Schism missions, which are, like, funny as fuck and great world-building missions. And I beat the twins in Kabuki in a fist fight, though I remember how hard this mission line was for me on the easiest difficulty with gorilla arms, so I think that's as far as I'm taking this one. With not a whole lot else to do at the current, I decide to do the Badlands Delamain retrieval, which is as fucking creepy as always, and next I bump tech to 18 out of 20 and grab Cyborg, then I deal with the Flamingos of Rancho Coronado for the Delamain there, and afterwards, I got a perk point that I put into Built Different, love the name by the way, then I install a cellular adapter and a blood pump, the blood pump being my synthetic growth factor AUG, and after that I reclaim the Coast View knockoff GLaDOS Delamain after turning her worshippers into a fine mist. I recovered the last rogue Delamain before he flatlined himself. I report back to Delamain and complete the quest for now, and finally I continue the Brandon quest and meet Theo. Nothing much happens in the Brandon quests, they're just kind of fun, so I'll kind of offhandedly give updates, but won't go into much detail for obvious reasons. On the verge of max level without even realizing it, I knock out Ben DeBayon, I meet up with these fucking chameleon people, and stealth killed my way to the Tiger Claw execs where I removed the corrupt men from power, and in a similar instance to the Pepe mission where I got the best ending in my solo playthrough but fucked it up on this one, provoked Maiko and had to defend myself, though I probably could have done it non-lethally with my fists or TRQ-203C longsword now that I think about it. But anyway, after that, I did Dakota Smith's last gig and killed all the Militech personnel before saving Bruce, saved Bruce, completing Goodbye Night City, got tech to 19 and got ambidextrous, and got this hulking beast of a car as a reward for completing all of Dakota Smith's gigs, and the Every Grain of Sand gig. With one level left to go until max level, I continued the Brandon quest and defended him from vandalism, knocked out Tamara Cosby, I finally met with Pan Am and discussed the plan to get Anders Hellman, we take down the security at the power plant and rig it to blow, we take down the Kang Tao AV, I take out the security at the crash site and save Mitch, and I fuck up stealthing to get Anders, so I just kill everyone there and take Anders with me. Hellman tells me I'm fucked, big news there. I delta and hit max level, getting tech to 20 and finally getting extended warranty, though that's because I thought that Cyberpunk 2.0 bumped the level cap to 60, rather than Phantom Liberty bumping the level cap to 60, so later I'll refund that perk point to get the Edge Runner perk since that's the whole reason I bumped tech to 20, and it's the best perk on that tree, but after that, I also do a couple more missions since I still thought I could level up to 60. I get a call from the Paralyses, and since I'm both looking for XP and this mission seems perfect for Adam Jensen, I review the Cyber Psycho Attack BD, meet up with Ward, we get Neil to spill about the Red Queen, I get stuck behind a person where I can't do anything until I use quick hacks to aggro a Tiger Claw and scare the person blocking me away, I jump when the Tiger Claws harassing Ward ask how high I can jump to try to keep the peace, but fail when they take it as mocking provocation, and we take them out. Me and Ward meet up and break into the shutdown Red Queen Club with loud violence after I fail to sneak in. We clear out the animals in the actual club. I convince a corpse to explain who killed Ryan with Speak with the Dead. She tells me it was Holt, his former right hand, and the animals are so hardcore that a nearly headless corpse straight up reanimates before I put her to rest permanently. I find out that the guy that killed Ryan, Peter Horvath, was turned into a cyber psycho by a BD. Ward's partner Han is in on the cover-up, and I let the Paralysis know in no uncertain terms that Holt is a dangerous man and a threat. At this point, realizing that level 50 is it for the base game, I just start wrapping up existing quests, like using my Longsword 2-203 ERSR to save Saul from the Raffen. As a reward, I finally get my hands on Overwatch, my Steiner Bisley Model 762 battle rifle for the run. I got duped by Stefan and nabbed by Scavs until I got all my stuff back, fought my way out, and chose to forgive Stefan. I refunded my extended warranty for Edge Runner. I got a biomonitor implanted to activate my synthetic growth factor automatically when I need it. Goro and I meet up with Oda and fail to convince him to help us to get an audience with Hanako. We get Wakako to give us the deets for the Arasaka parade on a shard. I head to the Voodoo Boys Chapel to get the details for the job they have for me, and I'm told to meet with Placide, which I do. And he sends me to the GIM to deal with the animals squatting there and the Netwatch agents squatting there as well. Using my Steiner Bisley Model 762 battle rifle, I pick my way through the animals and actually get a free perk point that I use to just regain extended warranty, and I keep popping melons until I make it to Sasquatch, where I then defeat her with my Huntsman Silverback, and then side with the Netwatch agent since Placide fucked me over in my first run when I sided with him. I've finally scored a meeting with Maman Brigitte, she sends me into the net to meet Alt Cunningham, I rush through another Johnny flashback, Brigitte and her runners get fried by Netwatch, and I defeat Placide using the 357 Magnum incredibly easily. After I almost die, Johnny and I have a heart-to-heart, Judy and I go diving and explore her past together before she leaves Night City, disheartened by how the city has chewed her up and spit her out, and I move on to do some more missions while I wait for Goro to call me. For example, I fuck up the Aldecaldo trade with some scavs, I say my goodbyes to Brandon and let Theo know that he's unfortunately been decommissioned, I let all of Delamain's children live and complete his questline, I help Ward find and save his nephew Randy, and Mitch and I honor Scorpion's memory by sending him out with a bang. Takemura is ready to talk, so we go over the plan for the parade to meet with Hanako. Takemura and I scout out the Arasaka compound, and then we debate each other's philosophy and explain our lives to each other while watching a Bakaneko, and then Johnny kills himself. In my original run, I convinced this goon to let me into the compound and did the whole mission with no alerts, but that didn't quite work this time, so I hijacked a van to get in, immediately got caught, rushed through and got the data, then just blitzed out of there. And then I helped Pan Am and the Aldecaldos shred through a Militech convoy and nab a Basilisk. Moving on to the last couple missions in the game, Goro and I go over the plan for the parade, I take out all the snipers and guards with a mix of stealth and sheer firepower, and then I hit my first of two major roadblocks in the run, the Oda boss fight. This boss fight was incredibly tough, way tougher than anything I had faced in either of my playthroughs so far. I tried a bunch of different tactics and strategies, like countering his melee range attacks with the Widowmaker TX Tech 1 for close range damage and knockback, but I would either lose him while he was camouflaged or get erased by his ranged homing attacks. On one attempt, I got far enough into the fight to lose all of my ammo for the Widowmaker, but at least I could tell I was making progress. I also tried to use nanoblades, but he regained full health and took me out. I eventually figured out the trick behind the camo and tried to finish him off with my Zenith CA40, but that failed too. I also tried following my Widowmaker with using the Defender, but I always get caught on something or run out of stamina to dash and I get hit and killed. Then the loading sequences started to break and I would have to quit out of the game and start it up from scratch every time I died, which was decidedly not fun. After a number of deaths and failed attempts using the Widowmaker and the Defender, the farthest I had gotten was around 50%, but I was slowly getting better and developing new strategies. After some trial and error, I even got him down to 20% health, but that loss was especially painful. With all those deaths culminating into the perfect run with a heaping helping of luck, I'll let you guys watch the winning attempt commentary free.
Of course you're here!
I warned you. That's right.
Distance! Watch the distance! Stay away from his leg! He will slice you like fish!
You leave me. You will not touch her. I will not let you.
Sina, the dark here. What is your status?
I managed to.
Yeah, that's right. In a genius stroke of luck, I got Oda stuck in a wall where he harmlessly remained until I finished him off. I even spared Oda. How very human of me. Unfortunately, this is where everything would begin to fall apart for Adam and Goro. Goro tries to get Hanako to listen to reason, but ends up having to kidnap her, causing all of Arasaka to start hunting us, forcing me to have to escape Arasaka and meet up with Goro to convince Hanako. We get found and attacked by Arasaka, but this time I ignore Johnny and save Goro since I accidentally left him behind in my last run. Goro and I escape, Hanako's proxy meets up with me and claims she's willing to talk with us, and I nearly flatline again, but Johnny saves me again. Before I started the final mission, I wanted to finish some things up. So I caught a beer with my buddy River, I banged Panam in a tank, I see a magician floating in the sky, I let Johnny take over, and I discover that Jefferson and Elizabeth Perales are being brainwashed by an AI, and tell Jefferson so that he can make a fully informed decision. It was at this point that I decided that I wanted to do the secret ending. While I think the most Adam Jensen ending would be the Arasaka ending, which is the one I did on my initial playthrough, I've never done the secret ending and I knew that it was the hardest, so in spite of how difficult Odo was, I wanted to test myself against the hardest ending on the hardest difficulty, a challenge worthy of Adam Jensen while keeping his integrity as an agent of truth and freedom without getting anyone he cares about hurt or killed. So before I meet up with Hanako for the final mission, I've got to do the Johnny stuff. To get that out of the way, Rogue and I sneak onto the Ebonike and non-lethally take out Grayson to get Johnny's gun and wheels. I head to Johnny's grave and we have the heart-to-heart required for the secret ending. I take Rogue on a date, I help Carrie get the band back together for one last gig and refuse to make the devil horns. And then I finally began the final mission with most of my gear, weapons, and cyberware being at least tier 5, meeting up with Hanako at Embers to talk endgame. Vic and Misty prepare me for the final decision, I call Panam to say goodbye, Johnny and I decide to do a solo run into Arasaka together, and Don't Fear the Reaper begins. This mission was tough, but also a good challenge that served as a culmination of Adam's adventure and a test of Adam's abilities. From the Zenith CA-40, to the FR-27 SFW, to the Longsword 2-203 ERSR, I made it all the way through Arasaka, cleared out the mainframe room, and made it to the room right outside the Mikoshi access point with 193 health remaining. Less than half of my max. Now, I could tell you about the 3 hours of attempts. I could tell you about how easily I could drop him below 60% health, only for him to annihilate me with his backup snipers or his missiles. I could tell you about how, even when I popped the melons of all the snipers and heavy machine gun guys with my Longsword 2-203 ERSR, Smasher would still eventually kill me. I could tell you about my using incendiary grenades, chemical grenades, and tier 5 quick hacks. I could even tell you about how I discovered that, at the beginning of the fight when the shutters come down on the entrance to stop you from leaving the arena, you can just stand under the shutters and prevent them from closing, which is what I did, and while in that hallway I was safe from Ads and Adam's missiles, or the time I glitched out of the map, saw a second Adam Smasher, glitched into Mikoshi, and died while unable to escape a tomb of my own making, but instead, I'll give old Adam here the same respect I gave Oda, and allow you to witness for yourselves the attempt in which I defeated Adam Smasher on the hardest difficulty for the hardest ending.
Hold! That's something! Struggle if you will! You are nothing. You spared Oda. So very human and disgusting. Mercy is disgusting.
You fucking cop!
Are you This is beyond you! This is your ruin! Where is Rogue? I'm no part of this raid, you cunt! Once I finish with you, I'll hunt her down! Don't prolong the inevitable. This is beyond you. Is this okay? Don't prolong the inevitable.
Johnny Silverhand sends his regards.
Are you fucking with me now?
He's got a point, V. Shut up and finish it. Be done with it.
Took down Johnny's arch enemy. Gotten good, I guess. Damn, it feels nice.
Man, I'm telling y'all, that took like 3 hours. The only reason I stuck it out was because A, I thought I'd get an achievement for beating the hardest ending on the hardest difficulty, and B, I owed it to Adam Jensen, you guys, and myself to prove that Adam Jensen could beat Adam Smasher. I thought about quitting or lowering the difficulty so many times, but I'm proud to have stuck with it, and I hope this affords me a little grace in any potential future runs if I want to do a lower difficulty or an easier ending. After that, I decide to sacrifice my life to give Johnny a second chance for 6 months, and that's the run. Thank you all so much for watching, and I hope you guys enjoyed this Cyberpunk run. This was only supposed to be a filler for the Metal Gear video, but if you guys liked it, I'd be happy and excited to do more. Maybe even heading to Dogtown in the future, so let me know. If you guys enjoyed and want to see more, let me know by dropping a like on the video, and let me know what other cosplayer challenge runs you'd like to see. There are the obvious ones, like JC and Alex Denton from the original Deus Ex games, or Metal Gear characters since that series is popular on the channel and fits the Cyberpunk theme. But I was also thinking of runs for characters from Borderlands, Rex Colt from Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon, other characters from Cyberpunk like Johnny, Adam, and David, Blade Runner characters since they're such an inspiration for the genre that they literally get referenced in this very game, characters from anime like Dimension W, No Guns Life, Cowboy Bebop, movie characters like RoboCop, Terminator, and Judge Dredd, and even more obscure characters from franchises like Crysis or Killer Instinct. Let me know what you guys want to see in the comments and subscribe to stay updated on all those ideas. Well, that's all from me. Again, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time for either Payday 2 or Metal Gear Solid 5. Peace.